And it starts.
You can see me my teeth.
We're live, gents. How is everyone
And I'm here
doing?
with 3 Chelsea fans.
The Man United.
There's not enough Man United fans here.
Yeah, the Man United faithful. decided
The United guys, they're watching F1 and cricket and all of that. They've given up on football.
Is that what's going on?
Where are we starting?
Start with Saturday, man. What happened on Saturday?
I think Mike has got the answers. Mike, you got the answers.
I mean, I've only got 2 words. Poch out.
Already?
Game week 3.
Hey, Mike is not mincing words, man. Mike is not mincing words.
Nah,
I'm not.
For the amount of money we spent at the end of the day, and then next minute you're playing, it's coward football, bro. Like every time when I go back and I look at Spurs lineup, then I go see Man City's lineup. They've got 4 attackers. We've only got 2.
And then this is against not even a top.
Guys do concede, but at the end of the day, they are able to score. Whereas with Chelsea, if you score, it's game over. It's either they're gonna get a draw or they're gonna lose.
Okay.
It's tough for me, man. I'm not Poch out, but the fears I had about Poch have come true too soon for my liking. You know, when you've got fears about a coach, you'd rather you see those things come to light later. There needs to be like a spring in the step for the players. You know, that new energy in the room, new coach bounce. We are not getting any of that. I will say this though, we have improved in terms of possession retention, chances created, big chances created. We create more clear-cut chances. We actually have created just as much as everyone else that is on like 10 points plus this season. We're just not finishing those chances. And the biggest chance misser in our team, funny enough, is Ben Chilwell. So yeah, that's also another thing. I think I'm not Poch out. I feel like the remedy to his problems is so easy to figure out. When we conceded, he sort of made changes that were addressing that. But I still think he kept that 3 at the back, which wasn't serving us in any way in a game that we were chasing. You know, we were losing numbers we could be adding forward and trying to keep our defensive solidity in place. I'm not a fan of that. He's very conservative as a coach, and he tends to take time to make decisions or subs. The one thing I'm not happy about is we don't switch up. There's, you know, when Arsenal conceded, and this is from the Man City game as well. When Man City conceded, because Man City was 1-0 up, and then a few minutes later it was 1-1. Yes, the goal that they scored through Nathan Ake should have never stood, but there was a response. They clearly took the game, you know, by the scruff of the neck and ensured that they influence how that game went going forward.
How much of that is down to having leaders on the pitch? You guys have one leader in your whole team, and that's Thiago Silva, and he can't really. Not yet. Not yet. He's still new. Fine. But what did he do? Did he take the game? I mean, he tried to, right? And he's a good player. I really like him, but he's not now gonna go and be Frank Lampard and like drag you to victory.
I'll call him out on that part. I think he had good chances in the game to score, some very, very good chances to score in the game, and he should have done better. But I'm not mad at him. His effort, the way he plays, same with Sterling. I think the quality in our team is quite clear where it comes from. The problem is I don't think we can sustain playing the way we are. There's too much that is being asked of the players because the system we play. There doesn't seem to be a design in place to help the players create chances with much better ease. And then with the left side, that is very imbalanced, which frustrates the crap out of me. Our left side is very non-creative. We have a left back that is a center back that can't overlap. Then we have a left winger that's a full back that cannot attack. 1v1, he's horrible. So he kills that entire left side. So what ends up happening is Gallagher stays on the right, where he connects with Gusto and Sterling. So he looks busy. Enzo is on the left of Caicedo, where there's no one. So what ends up happening is Enzo moves more central, supports the right-hand side, and then it isolates the striker who needs to go to the left to try to create activity where there's space, because there's always space on the left, because all of our play is overloaded to the right side. So if he is trying to collect the ball on the right, there's going to be a defender right next to him. So he has to go to the left. That's very frustrating to watch, and it's the reason why we can't seem to create enough chances for our striker. That's very frustrating to watch.
Speaking of which, our striker, I don't know whether he needs time and confidence for him to learn to shoot. There were 2 instances where he was approaching the box and he's got the ball and he still wants to play 1-2 instead of taking a shot. I don't know whether it's going to come with time. It's his 3rd, 4th game in prime time. Like now, every game he's expected to perform. I was very much disappointed, and I think over the weekend as we were talking, I can't remember between you gents who made the point of we catering a bit too much for Gallagher.
What's your other option?
We have a lot. That's the problem. We have a lot of options. That's the problem. Yeah. There is a refusal to trust the technical players in the team and favor the players that are workhorses. Because tell me why we're not using Noni Madueke. If we don't want to use Mudryk, why wasn't Noni Madueke playing? Who is a more creative player, who's a dribbler, who can beat players one-on-one, and we're playing against a low block. We need someone who is very, very technical, who can do things 1v1. We didn't have a lot of 1v1 players in the team. In fact, when Cole Palmer came in, that's when we started to look more free, started to create between the lines. We were not doing that the whole game. We were trying to create from crosses and trying to catch them when they leave Ben Chilwell free. And when you leave Ben Chilwell free for a reason, he's not going to bother you.
And let's be honest with Moses. Moses is not match fit. He's only walking in because of his reputation. He looks to be operating at 65% of his overall performance. There's a question mark around there. But I think the international break is going to give him time. It's what's the other word? It's international break is coming at the right time for us and for Man United, but we'll get to Man United in a bit. I honestly do feel Gallagher needs to sit on the bench a bit.
You guys say go back to a back 5. Sorry, okay. You guys say go back to a back 5 and have Enzo and Caicedo as a double pivot.
No.
And then your front 3 doing...
No, back 4.
No. We want a back 4. Look, you can have a 4-2-3-1 where you keep your back 4. Then you have Enzo and Caicedo in a double pivot. And then you have Cole Palmer in the 10, creative with all the freedom. And then you can have Mudryk, or you have Noni on the left, and then Sterling on the right. And Sterling is flexible because he's played on both sides.
Yeah.
He's played on both sides, so he's very flexible as far as a winger. And then you have Jackson up front. I think with that set up, you keep a solidity in midfield, and then because you don't have Gusto's not too great at overlaps with the play. Ben tends to overlap off the ball, which is better, so he avails himself for crosses. Then Ben can be a creative fullback instead of a fullback who has to do 1v1s. Yo, Skrizo.
No, we're getting there. We're getting to United. So, okay, here's my question though: Is Cole Palmer ready to consistently be your number 10 and start
He's a
30
stopgap.
games
He's a
this
stopgap.
season?
Shiva, our team's age is 22.5 this season. No one is ready. That's the attitude every Chelsea fan should have. Yeah, every Chelsea fan should have that idea. Our team is not ready for anything. So what needs to happen is that we need to be free to experiment because we're not ready. So if the coach has no spirit in him to try things instead of playing rigid conservative football, then we're gonna have a problem because the players that need to develop and grow in the system and get minutes and play are not going to. So it's not a question of if Cole Palmer is ready. Cole Palmer needs to play. It's that simple. Mudryk needs to play. They need to play.
Stop doing that, Mike. You distract me because now you're in the corner and you're dark. The only thing I can see is your hand.
They need to play. You know, we're not helping anyone by playing these players like Gallagher that are not adding anything.
Yeah.
So where do you think
is a stopgap for Nkunku to get better? And Nkunku is only coming back. Earliest they're looking at is November, and that's like the earliest. So right now we do need an unpredictable. Let me put this unpredictable attacking entity, and that is Upama. Because Modric right now, the more games that he plays and everyone is tracking his stats, the more it starts dawning on him. He was only brilliant for that Liverpool game.
Wait. But Modric is a 5-time Champions League winner.
No, he's not talking
this
about
guy just rocks up here in the middle of the conversation with his treble.
It's Modric. You started calling him Mama Modric. That's the problem. You're calling him Mama Modric. Players who...
So yeah, Palmer is coming as a stopgap. And I think back to the point that Mike on Poch out. I think it's too early. And though we need to be cautious about it, there are huge question marks on the outlay. How much did he spend? Because remember, he's come from a team where he didn't spend much, and everyone like he did well for the budget. But now he's got the budget, and it's not really coming together. I do believe in him. I think let's give him. It's still very early days. Let's give him a chance.
Let's stop talking about budgets, guys. Let's not talking about budgets. Let's start talking about.
City fan not wanting to talk about budgets anyway.
No.
If Poch goes out, do you guys get Fat Frank for another 10 games?
Yeah.
Is that not even worse? At that point, you know they're not just.
Then we take 10 steps back.
Yeah, at that point, it's not better to just keep Poch.
Yeah, but technically, we need to look at coaches technically, bro. I think all the big six teams have money, bro. Everyone is spending as well as they need to, right? So technically, right, we have a problem with Poch and what Ten Hag are doing with what they do, with what they've bought. It's pointless to go and have these attacking talents, but you're still playing 5 at the back, right? So the problem isn't about spending here. The problem is about tactics. What are the actual tactics that he's trying to achieve with a wing back that is second striker or and so forth? I mean, that whole mess is not making sense. Ito. So the money part, we step away from the money part because Liverpool went and bought a whole new midfield. Nothing. They still play the same way because they know what they need to do when they get on the pitch. The other teams are spending money, but there's no clear guideline in terms of what players need to do when they get there.
Yeah, I do believe it's too early. But yeah, I think everyone's got a view, an opinion on that. Shivar, I don't know. Must he go?
Nah.
Mike, who would you want? Who would you want?
Mike said he wants
Lucho is gone. Remember, Lucho is gone, eh? Lucho is at PSG winning 4-1. So forget about Lucho. Who would you want if Poch left today?
Hey, Nagelsmann is still out of a job, man.
He is.
My thing is,
So
look,
is
my only
Brendan Rodgers.
problem.
No, you guys laugh. You guys laugh, but Brendan's actually good with the youngsters. Like he could get you guys playing this style, and then you sack him at the end of the season, and then you bring in Nagelsmann. Or you
Let
could
me
just
tell
stick
you.
with Poch.
Yeah, but let me tell you. Let me tell you my problem with those types of coaches is Brendan is very similar to Poch. Brendan plays English football. He plays you block, then you attack on the break. He plays Ten Hag football. You've got youngsters that have creative talent, that have attacking talent, that need a coach that is going to help them in terms of creating a football system that is going to make use of their talents going forward. That's what Arteta did. It was risky the second year he was doing it and he was losing games, but he was losing games trying to win games. We are losing games trying to play safe.
Yeah,
That's painful. That's painful. It's a young team, we know. We expect to lose games. Some games you're gonna lose. It's how you lose sometimes. It's not you see how United fans feel today? It's not because they lost, it's the manner of the loss. It's because they thought they won. They had taken off their shirts, they were running in the street thinking they won the game. So now to come back down from that and then lose it in added time, that's going to be painful. So that's what happened. That's what happens with us. We think that we are doing things great, but we're not actually scoring goals. We're not actually looking like a fluid attacking team. We just keep the ball.
As we segue into Bruno's Man United.
But can't we talk about teams that won, like City, like Liverpool? Let's talk about good teams. Can you talk before? Let's talk about good teams.
Okay, who are you going with, City or Liverpool?
Let's start with City.
Wait. Shiva, they said good teams.
Okay, fine. Must we then talk about Tottenham? We can talk about Tottenham. They're good.
City is fascinating to watch, guys.
My brother, a good team is a team that has 100% record so far. Then others. Good team, then others.
West Ham.
So
who's West Ham? Isn't West Ham
Brighton?
Yeah,
don't Brighton? No, Brighton lost.
Brighton
no. West Ham doesn't have 100%.
Yeah.
Only one team. Brighton was beaten by West Ham.
Please, guys. Please. The only team that beat
only one team has 100% record, guys.
So
in the shield.
Yeah, that's an L. That's an L. You've taken an L this season. I haven't taken an L this season. Let me go.
Go for it.
Hey,
I'm messing with you. Go for it, Cheese. Go for it, Cheese.
No,
Let's hear about how you're hitting 100 points this season.
Yeah, no. So I think there was a very big comment that came out this weekend, and it was from our captain. Before the game, he sat the guys down and said, for the past few seasons, we're always chasing teams and hoping teams drop points and stuff like that. And it's like, why are we not putting the pressure on teams now? Let's have a season like we did in 17-18 where we were untouchable by January. So I think that's a big statement. In the game against Fulham, there were phases in the game where I was like, we look very leggy. And sometimes it's not even very leggy. It's just the guys aren't doing the simple things, which is just passing the ball. We normally pick up our rhythm by passing the ball more frequently. And I think some of the passing lanes that Akanji does isn't as good as Stones in that center back going into the middle role. So he does lose the ball more often and sometimes breaks up our flow. But as soon as the Fulham legs gave in the second half, we started to create more chances, and it became an easier game than the scoreline showed.
Honestly, if you're being honest and frank right now, that goal that changed the game, offside, not offside.
Offside.
So
it's offside.
It's not that easy.
So for me, it's not
how he's in the line of sight of the keeper and he kicks at the ball. He's in direct line of sight and he kicks at the ball.
The problem is now
he made an attempt for the ball that he should be offside. Then he should
be
offside.
There's blurred lines here, right? Remember last season when Rashford and Bruno did this against us in the league?
Yeah.
There
we go. That was offside as well.
You see, that was a clear offside, right? And now, because things like that happen retrospectively, it's very hard for us to be like, we gave that one and now we're not giving this one. Does it then make sense, right? And that's where the difficulty is, right?
I hear you.
So for me, definitely that changes things. But it was always going to be a tough task for Fulham to try to survive that long period when we started to have that sustained pressure. Your
new boy Doku, how was he?
Yeah, Doku very explosive. I think he still needs. It wasn't a good game for him to come into because we were. It's not on him, right? We weren't playing our best in that game. We weren't playing our best, to be honest. And it's hard for guys who are playing on the wing to get into the game when City aren't playing well because we lose the ball a lot and the game is just slow and it breaks up. We don't have that flow. So for me, he's definitely going to be a problem. There was 2 or 3 chances where he burst to the line and that guy was just super quick to get to that ball and cross the ball back into the box. But he's definitely going to make a big difference. But again, we introduced another youngster in Oscar Bob, and Oscar Bob is going to be something else going forward. Pep was speaking about him, and it's like, yeah, people are telling us about Cole Palmer and whatnot. It's like we have Oscar Bob, and people haven't seen Oscar Bob. Imagine how much money people are going to pay for Oscar Bob if they can pay 45 for Cole Palmer. So I think in general a good result, a result that we needed before this international break. It's better to be me than to be other clubs, I guess.
Do you think?
I don't know.
And I noticed this while I was watching the Fulham game. Okay, I still think City are going to win the league, but I just feel you guys are not as strong as you were last season and the seasons before.
No. We always thought like this, Shiva. We always look like you guys. You guys will beat us. But again, we start to pick up form once we get to the crucial stages of the game.
Right
that's where, that's where we always start cooking those long unbeaten runs and those streaks, and that's where it matters. In the big points, now it's guys need to get into the game. They need to get into the pace of the game again. Their match fitness right, and all of those things that come into pace. And for now, City, you'll see a lot in terms of City, in terms of rotation, because we're trying to get everyone to be match fit and ready for those big games that are coming, or not big games, but those crucial stages in the season where everyone needs to be kicking heavily. And De Bruyne has missed definitely, but we've won 2 league titles without this guy before, so he's definitely an addition. He's going to be like a new signing in January, but Chuk, we just need to grind the results now. And at the end of the day, once you're sitting on a solid points total in December, it's very hard for other teams, especially teams who are trying to play catch up.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Arsenal were sitting pretty last Christmas.
Yeah, but it's Arsenal.
Yeah, that's Arsenal. Respect us.
This guy comes back at this time to laugh at Arsenal.
No, I'm laughing at Ed's comment. That's all.
Yeah. Even last year, I think none of us were worried that Arsenal was going to win the league. I think we were having the shows, and we hardly spoke about how Arsenal. We were speaking about how well they were playing and stuff, but we never really thought of them as an actual threat in terms of going to win the league. And yeah, for me, it's not what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, but the ECT is boring to watch these days. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's falling into a trap that Barcelona Pep fell into, where when they introduced tiki-taka football and they were just too good, and they've got that cheat code up front. That ball, you give him the ball, it doesn't matter whether it's on the head, it's on his left foot, it's on his right foot. He just knows.
Mike said Drogba and Torres were better than that guy in the prime.
No, Mike was drunk at the time. I forgive him on my behalf.
I know, bro. I know, Mike. Bro, Mike wanted. Mike, remember exactly. Mike wanted Poch over Luis Enrique. So I know very well that Mike is a drinker.
At least I drink on the show.
I wanted Luis Enrique. I wanted Poch too.
Yeah.
I wanted Luis Enrique. I didn't want Poch. I wanted João Felix. I didn't want all these other guys too.
Yeah.
Hey, but you saw João Felix's weight, man.
Over Haaland.
Liverpool, it's your turn. Hit us. You're currently just going about business.
On that Torres and Drogba over Haaland thing, I would prefer if our striker was either Torres or Drogba than Haaland, simply because Haaland needs to be fed, whereas Torres and Drogba could actually play for themselves. But in Pep's system, where he will be fed, then you would rather have Haaland, because it doesn't matter if he can't play. Like, the guys behind him are so good at it, they'll feed him all day and he'll score hat-tricks every other week.
So you guys saying that at Salzburg, Haaland was fed the ball for him to score all those goals?
He wasn't.
Okay.
Even at
Borussia. Dortmund, right? I'll take your argument at Dortmund, but Salzburg's also so much better than their competition. But I'll take your argument at
Since
Dortmund.
when?
Salzburg.
Since when were they better than their competition?
Salzburg, who's their competition?
I don't even know.
There you go.
There's your answer.
Their competition is Basel, who were good 10 years ago. I don't know.
No, that's a good team.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Can
you name the starting 11? I can't. I can't name a single
player.
No
one can.
No one can. I don't know anyone. Who plays for Basel? I don't know.
It's always a player like Robert Huth and them. Guys.
But I think sometimes we obsess over everything else a striker does outside of scoring. Mm-hmm. I agree. Growing up watching Drogba, to me, Drogba is the perfect 9 in terms of every strength he has is exactly what a number 9 should have. Great with both feet, can handle the ball with his chest, can hit the ball, can create, has an eye for a pass, can read the game very well, great runs, off the ball movement, all of that, and then strength. Something strikers don't have anymore. Strength. Yeah. The man was difficult to get around. They used to kick him in the chest. Basically, he was a nightmare. But I can see attributes in different strikers. Luis Suarez, to me, is a perfect 9 in his own way.
Yeah.
In his own way. And he doesn't need to have all of the attributes that Drogba had, but he's great as a Luis Suarez type of striker. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a perfect striker in his own way. And I think Haaland is a perfect striker in his own way, because how many strikers can we say are that efficient in the box?
Don't use efficient and Suarez in the same line. The Ghanaians are watching. And they're not going to be happy with us.
But the point I'm making is he is so good. He is so good that even the criticism that he doesn't do much else doesn't really land that well for me per se anyway. Because the stuff that I need from him, for example, Nicholas Jackson does everything else perfect. Everything else. Carries the ball, can control the ball, holds up play,
takes on play.
Everything. He doesn't have the scoring touch Haaland has. I wish he had that. I really wish he had that. So you have to choose sometimes what is most important in the number 9. Because if the issue is just giving him supply, a player like that, imagine if Ozil was giving that guy supply over Giroud. Arsenal would have won the league.
Because right now,
should have won the league anyway.
Just speaking on strikers, right now, Lyle Foster is a better striker than Jackson.
Yeah.
Yes, he's scoring.
Yeah, man.
It's finest,
finest, man.
Evan Ferguson is a better striker. What does Evan Ferguson do? He scores.
In the box, bro.
I like Evan
You need to be a box, bro.
Yeah,
I like
he
him.
He doesn't do anything else.
If you're a striker, bro, I want my striker to be hurting defenders in the box. Leave the outside of the box stuff to your creative tens. Yes.
Okay, let me ask this question.
No. But wait.
Let me ask this question. Sorry, Mike. I just want to ask. So we all agree that strikers should score goals, right? I mean, that's fairly silly to even question
Primarily,
that.
yes.
But
yeah.
Okay, and then we use the example of Torres and Drogba, who you can say their numbers were nowhere near Haaland's. So let's look at someone whose numbers are a little bit better, right? Haaland or Sergio Aguero? Because I know who my answer is.
Haaland.
I'm taking Aguero.
I'm taking Aguero.
Aguero.
And I'll tell you why I'm taking Aguero, because Aguero could do it out of absolutely nothing.
Haaland can do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but nah. He can do it with a half chance. He can do it with a half chance.
He can do it out of nothing, guys. He really can score in the run of play.
For me, Shiva, for me, Aguero was never a whole season player. For me,
but why? Why was he not a whole season player?
Because his body just his build. Like his build was just not the way he plays. He likes to shield the ball a lot, and taking all of those hits on your ankle and your leg.
His groin was a problem.
He's trying to roll. He's trying to roll a lot of it. The way he played, right, was so good. I won't lie, bro. I mean, Aguero was one of our best ever strikers in that team, right? And for me, it's always going to take a lot to turn that. But Haaland's doing that for the whole season, bro.
So
yeah, Haaland's doing that the whole season. He's causing problems. And even when Haaland isn't even playing well, right? Like in finals, and I know Haaland isn't playing well in finals, but he's occupying so many defenders. In the back of the mind, defender think if this guy gets one chance, he's putting that in the net. Just allows guys to have so much more freedom around him. And that's why for me he's so effective, and why we were able to win a treble.
I can say
what was the reason Gundogan had so much freedom in the box, as well as Mahrez was able to cut in 1v1, was because they couldn't overload anyone, because everyone was overloading Haaland. His presence in the box is even without the ball. Yes, even without the ball, he is so effective, because what people don't understand sometimes, it's not just the player and what they do once they touch the ball. It is what they do to the players they are playing against. So, for example, when you're playing against Saka, for example, a fullback is not going to overlap freely, because the one thing you don't want is to see Saka trapping the ball alone on the wing.
Yeah, that's it.
So when your defense is playing against Haaland, the last thing they want him to do is score. They know he's going to score. So instead of helping on other players like Grealish, like Mahrez, like Gundogan, they won't, like who's this boy, Alvarez, they won't help on those players. So those players are going to get more opportunities to be 1v1. 1v1 is what every attacker wants, because once you send help, then I need to move the ball. If it's 1v1, I can trust my skill, my technical ability against any defender. So that's why Mahrez was getting 1v1s all the time, curling balls. Yeah. He was getting runs free, because no one is watching him. No one. By the time you turn, you realize, shit, it's Riyadh.
No,
it's Riyadh. Then it's over.
No, look at his movement for the third goal.
No,
look at his movement for the third goal.
That was brilliant, sir. That was so brilliant. That was so brilliant.
There's like 6 defenders in that box, guys. There's 6 defenders in that box, and his movement was so good that Sergio Gomez rolled the ball for him to finish on the first time. It's that sort of movement, those sort of things inside the box that differentiates you between being Haaland and being Nicholas Jackson, which was the example that we made earlier. Yes. Jackson is doing so much outside the box that when he's needed in the most critical points, he's tired.
Yeah.
He can't make those small runs within the box to beat defenders with movement. He can't. Haaland can. Haaland knows how to free himself between 3 defenders for a header, tall defenders, and he can free himself in the box. He knows how to do that. That's amazing. That's skill.
And that
Nunes has it in him. He has the same build, the same speed, strong speed.
Perfect example. Perfect example.
Yeah, and that's a similar sort of characteristic where we're gonna say in 2 years' time, once he's pulling those numbers, Shiva's gonna come in and tell us that he's actually a better striker than Torres.
And cheese. You know when Nunes learned that from Edson Cavani. You know one of the strikers Haaland likes to emulate. Edson Cavani with his movement. Edson Cavani is one of the best movers of the ball. He was a striker that anticipated. Great. You know that thing that who's this? He played for City, man. Why am I forgetting this guy? He played for Roma just now, Inter last season.
Deco.
The City striker.
Yeah.
Deco used to do this thing where he run diagonally in the box to the first pole to basically get to the ball before the defense can attack across. Zabaleta used to cross to him all the time. That is what differentiates great strikers and just normal strikers. You see a striker that has that instinct of, I know where the ball arrives usually in the box. I need to be there to avail myself. Haaland knows that when defense is set, usually they face their own goal inside. Ruud van Nistelrooy is perfect with that.
Yeah.
So what Haaland does, he attacks the front post or attacks the back post. So he will fake run to the front post. The defense is going to overcompensate. He'll go to the back post and get a free header. And everyone's going to say, why is no one marking Haaland? You can't mark that movement. You can't. That is why he's so good. And we look at the goals he's scoring. We're not seeing how he's getting to those positions. That is where the brilliance is. It's like, it's just tap-ins. Look at how he moves to get those tap-ins. He makes it easy for his teammates.
No, but hear me out. Ne?
That's a striker. So that's why I'm saying that it's so different.
Can I make my point? Ne? It's the exact same when people used to compare Ronaldo to Messi. Who's the better player? Messi. I never disputed Haaland is a great player. But the moment you start comparing him to the likes of Drogba and Torres, where it's like, dude, this guy requires service. It's like a Filippo Inzaghi. Without service, he will struggle. Put him in that Chelsea team, he will struggle.
Yeah, that's kind of
you telling me right now that Haaland doesn't score that Jackson chance. You are wait. Let me put my camera. Mike. I don't know if you can switch on your phone light or something so I can see you. I want you to tell me now that Haaland doesn't score that Nicholas Jackson chance. Yeah, go get a drink. Something. Get some water, a bandage, deep heat, anything, bro.
No. He does score that Nicholas Jackson chance. Ne? I didn't dispute that. All I'm saying is that you cannot compare him to the likes of Drogba, Torres, Lewandowski. He's not on the same level.
Well, what?
How? Lewandowski is a poacher. What do you mean?
Mike, I understand what you're saying, Mike, but you're using the wrong words here.
No.
He keeps on digging.
You cannot put him on the same level.
Yes.
So, okay. What Mike is trying to say is he will score more goals than them, right? But if you saw in the final where there was a screen in front of him and he wasn't getting the service, he looked ineffectual. Whereas with Drogba, if there's a screen in front of him, he'll just play with his back to goal and let someone roll the ball into him, and then suddenly he's flicking one over and there's an assist for Frank Lampard.
Shiva, did you watch the 2012 final? Did you watch the 2012 final against Bayern?
The 2012 final against... Yes, I did it. I watched the penalty shootout. I didn't watch the whole game.
How effective was Drogba in that game?
Look, okay, as I said, I watched the penalty shootout. I didn't watch that.
So as someone who watched it, okay, let me tell you, he wasn't. You know why? Because we played a low block in that game. We're very defensive. He wasn't getting any supply. And then the best balls he was getting were high balls. And then he was faced with 3 defenders all the time. So the moment he controlled the ball, they took the ball from him because there was no one. He was isolated. you can't do anything with a striker if he's isolated without supply. Like let's stop that myth of saying strikers basically can do something by themselves. They can't. How did we score that goal? We attacked, we won a corner, Mata took a corner, first post Drogba hit that thing beat Neuer, and that's how we scored. So we created for him in order for us to score that goal in the final. No striker just scores by themselves. There has to be someone that creates. The ball needs to get to the zone that is going to allow them to score, which is the zone in the final third. The ball doesn't carry itself there, guys. It doesn't. You need creative players to supply you there. Ruud van Nistelrooy had Beckham, he had Giggs, he had all the supply that he wanted. No striker was an island. Torres himself had Gerrard, had Kai, had Bano. He had supply.
And again, you have to have the movement. There's a big difference in terms of what Chris Wood does and what Haaland does in the box.
But
you see, and that's why
not saying that Haaland is a bad player. We're just saying that Drogba and Torres contribute more. No, Mike is not saying that. Mike is not saying Haaland is a bad player. Mike is not saying that Haaland is a bad player. He's just saying. Okay, let me put it this way. Let me just put it this way, right? Torres and Drogba and Aguero and Lewandowski and all those other guys contribute more to their team's build-up than Haaland does.
That's a myth about Lewandowski, by the way.
Wait.
That is a massive myth about Lewandowski.
I'll give you Lewandowski, but
Shiva, how did Kevin De Bruyne score his goal against Arsenal last season?
Yeah, okay, fine.
Hey, Mike. Wait, not Shiva. Listen, Mike, here's the mic.
Wait. I'm gonna nitpick a couple of incidents. In fact, when a guy gets like 9 touches the whole game.
Wait, Mike.
How did he score?
How did Kevin De Bruyne score against the league leaders for 365 days yesterday?
No. Let's get his average touches. Get his average touches per game, and let's talk.
Why? Why?
To show you that he doesn't contribute, dude. It doesn't.
Okay, now take that. Now take that and put it.
Get his average touches. I didn't say good.
Okay, Mike. Let's take that and put his
compare them to Jackson.
Let's put average touches and goals, ne? And then put average touches for every other player and goals next to them.
Dude, it's the exact same incidents like when people used to compare Ronaldo and Messi. Ronaldo had more goals, but Messi...
No, we're speaking about touches now. It's because I thought you were speaking about.
No, you're talking about different things.
We were speaking about not contributing to the ball game, right? And he moved away from it. So now we're speaking about touches. So let's go back.
No. Look,
he's not answering any of my questions.
But Mike, I'm with you. Dude, I'm with you. I'm with you right now.
You'll never convince me otherwise. I'm sorry. That's why I'm going to ask you, have you seen Haaland score a goal outside the box for City?
Why?
Why does he need to score one outside the box?
Have you seen him score a goal
outside the box?
I'm waiting.
If he scores on the box, doesn't count too, Mike.
I'm waiting.
Do you get a conversion? If you score outside the box, you get a conversion. You get a conversion, Mike. Do you get a conversion for scoring outside the box?
Comparing him to
get an extra point.
Saying what Haaland is better than Ronaldo 9. Calm down.
Where did he say that? Where did he say that?
Mike. But Mike, I think your frustration is that people have a preference of Haaland over certain strikers that you know.
No.
I think people have a very short-term memory.
I don't have a problem.
I think people
forget
how brilliant the yesteryear strikers were.
Haaland is a better player than Alba Torres. You can keep your own personal preferences and your own opinions. I don't have a problem with that. That's how you guys view things. It's your guys' perception. But you're not gonna come you're not gonna
remember,
convince me Haaland is a better player in my eyes. Nah.
But what Mike, what you shouldn't do, is you shouldn't. The way you place your argument against Haaland is that you need to hate on Haaland first. And when you hate on Haaland, it tells me that you don't watch Haaland. You don't really watch him, so you have no appreciation for what he's good at.
I don't think Mike is hating on Haaland, though.
I didn't hate him. Finishing.
He's brilliant.
Shiva, Shiva, I'll tell you what his argument to me was. I'll tell you what his argument to me was. He said he's like a Filippo Inzaghi. Fine. Then his argument was Haaland goes missing in finals, in big games. That was his argument. That doesn't speak about the striker. Doesn't speak about how well the striker plays. He just said Haaland goes missing in finals. If I'm lying, say I'm lying, Mike. That's what you said to me.
I'm not disputing that. But I'm not
all right.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna say one more.
I said he's a good striker in the box. Outside contribution, I equaled out. You're not gonna convince me otherwise.
I'm gonna say one more thing.
You're not gonna convince me otherwise.
Our game against City last season, at Anfield, Joe Gomez absolutely pocketed Haaland. Haaland was an absolute non-issue in that game. Like, I was like, when are they subbing on Haaland? That was how I felt watching Haaland. I never felt that way playing against Sergio Aguero. Against Sergio Aguero, I was always shitting bricks when that guy was on the ball, no matter where it was. I always felt like this guy is a threat. I don't feel that way with Haaland.
I'm pretty sure Sergio Aguero doesn't have a win against Liverpool in the league, right?
No, he does.
Like only in Cup.
He does, and I can tell you which win it is, right? It was
that 4-0. That 4-0 where you guys kicked.
Not the 4-0. It was you guys clocked 98 points. We clocked 97 points. Sergio Aguero puts the ball in the back of the net, and the ball crosses the line by like 1 centimeter. And on the other side, John Stones clears a Mane shot off the line, and that ball was just not off the line by like 2 centimeters. And it was that 3 centimeters that cost us the league title. That's when Sergio Aguero won the league against Liverpool and won a game against Liverpool.
So that game was in December.
That's one incident. Well. That's one incident, and
that game was in December. You guys went and lost to Newcastle. That's how you lost the league. You were leading, lost to Newcastle in March, and then you lost the league. Then it has nothing to do with the game in December. How Liverpool fans want to remember that season is about that game in December.
We only lost one game that season. That was against City.
You drew to Newcastle. I think it was a 1-1 draw. You drew to Newcastle. City kept winning. You drew to Newcastle. That's how you lost the league. You were leading. You were leading even after that game.
After that City game, it was like 14 games left in the season. And I remember because there was a City fan at work. I don't know what happened to him, but he's a City fan. Anyway, I kept telling him that, dude, there is no way that we win 14 in a row. There's no way this happens. This is the Premier League. Someone's going to drop points.
And City did.
And we just won 14 in a row. And City won that league by that 1 point because of those 3 centimeters. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point I'm trying to make is Sergio Aguero, from absolutely nothing, goes and wins the game. And that's a game that he's won against Liverpool. That Mike says Sergio Aguero's never been on the winning end against Liverpool. There's an example. He has been. And it was, not Mike, sorry. Not Mike, Sitley. Cheers. So, Mike, I'm actually on your side here.
Okay, guys. So,
but I think the context about Haaland is also lost, because the point I made was Haaland, first of all, is 22, 23. Was in his first season last year, so hasn't achieved anything, quite frankly. But he has a league title and a golden boot for the Champions League and the league, and he won a treble. But he hasn't done anything. It's just 1 year, and we are comparing him with people that have careers that have been shut down. To me, that speaks about his pedigree. First of all, everyone knows where it's heading. Everyone is scared that he's going to erase a lot of people from the record books. In fact, Haaland is going to become the standard to strikers become compared to. And people are fighting and clawing at the strikers they like to keep hold of them, because they know once Haaland does 30 plus every season, there'll be no point talking about Drogba or Torre, who did it once in their careers. Who did it once in their career?
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? How come no one says Alan Shearer is the best striker in Premier League history, but he's the guy with the most goals?
Because no one watched Alan Shearer.
I watched Alan Shearer.
Yeah, Shiva, we don't need to know your age, but we know no one watched Alan Shearer.
When in doubt.
Okay.
Yes.
Guys, even British strikers, British players always say they've never seen a player like Haaland, a player like Drogba, a player like Thierry Henry. That tells me that there was nothing special to Shearer, quite frankly. If Thierry Henry was that great a striker for the British people and they already had a record breaker, then it tells me that Shearer wasn't really special. He was a great goal scorer and he played in the league for a very long time, playing against farmers. But once the talent went up in the Premier League, those English strikers like Alan Shearer started to wither. In fact, Harry Kane is literally the best striker the English have ever had in the Premier League. Because he has played in the most talented era of Premier League football. Shearer didn't.
And if Steve Bruce coaches as well as he plays, then it's not a good standard there to play.
My man.
Okay, James. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Why we were having such a nice conversation about strikers, and now you like this guy.
The elephant that started moving in the room.
We can still continue about strikers though. We finally saw Haaland's namesake.
Oh yeah,
Hoyland.
Erasmus.
I thought he played well. I
think
I
didn't know he was.
I thought he was busy.
Guys, I think you know, can I just jump in about Hoyland? You see, guys, I think Hoyland is gonna starve in this team, bruh. Like there were so many chances where Rashford could have crossed, dog. But Rashford, because he's a greedy motherfucker, he decided to shoot all the time. Yet, dog, like this guy's gonna starve, bro. And watch how Man United fans are gonna start turning their back on him. They're gonna start saying that, he can't finish.
Does he even sweat in a game?
Oh my
He had a
god!
shot on target, bro. He had a shot on target.
Another player who does everything outside the box, but except inside the box. Another great player.
No.
Because also the other thing is that I'm trying to figure out. I watched the game. I think everyone watched the game. What style of football is Man United playing, and is that style different to?
Can I tell you?
Okay.
I can also answer that question. I can also answer that question, but I'll you first.
He's got no team. He's got no team.
So yesterday it was very funny. I actually remembered something. So remember last season when City played Arsenal, the game that CK was making reference to in terms of Haaland's assist to Kevin. And I remember Pep.
It wasn't Haaland. It was a cone, according to Mike. A cone.
Yeah, it was a cone.
So I tried to help you, Mike. I tried, but also not having it.
Accept the goalpost as much as you want to prove a point, dude. It's okay. But I'll never see
so how Pep played in that game was he basically said, that's your problem, Mike. That's yours. So what happened is Pep said Arsenal has a very high press. Yeah?
I think you're a bit.
Am I lagging?
Yeah.
I don't go. Just talk. Yeah.
Okay. So Haaland, Arsenal has a very high press. They also press with their midfield. So what Pep was doing was he invited the press. Arsenal would go deep into City's last third, and then they just play a ball over them into Kevin and Haaland. And then Haaland would hold the ball up, dish with Kevin, and try to make runs. That's how they were playing. They were basically playing them on the counter and challenging Saliba and Gabriel in terms of their running. Well, I think Saliba was already injured by then. But basically Holding and Gabriel in terms of their running, they're not the fastest. So obviously you can burn them like no one's business. So United were basically trying to do the same thing. But they forgot the hold-up play. and then also the accuracy was wrong. So what kept happening is they would invite them in, the press, Arsenal would press, have all the midfield. Onana would play the ball straight to Arsenal's defense. And that kept happening. And I'm like, oh, that's why they're doing this. But Martial can't hold up the ball. Rashford can hold up the ball. Anthony can try, but Anthony also tries to help the defense. So when they're pressing them, Anthony is right next to Wan-Bissaka because Wan-Bissaka has no technical ability, trying to help him play out. So now they only have two people up front, and both of them can't hold up play. They can run, but they can't hold up play. And you see this in the way they scored the goal, because Arsenal wins the ball this time. Finally wins the ball pressing. And then my favorite player, Kai Havertz, decides, I'm going to pass the ball square. I'm going to pass this ball square, and the entire team is pressing, basically. So they don't have the numbers. Eriksen pushes through, takes the ball, intercepts, goes straight. Martial is, who's this? Rashford is running. One pass in, Rashford takes it to his right foot. Saliba and Gabriel don't communicate. Saliba is supposed to stay outside. Gabriel is supposed to take him to the line. Instead, Saliba tries to cover the outside. Then it gives Martial, Rashford an advantage, cut in, score. And I felt as though nothing else was done by United from that point onwards. What happened in the second half, Arsenal got tired. Arsenal started to play extremely slow. They didn't have any dynamism. So it was a midfield battle, basically. And they were overloading Arsenal's midfield because they had three people in midfield. Arsenal were basically using Zinchenko and Rice, and Zinchenko also had to check on Anthony from time to time. So Rice kept getting isolated. And Odegaard was trying to help the attack because Havertz is making them a player short already in attack. And Saka is firmly in Dalo's pocket. That was something to watch. Dalo playing out of position and pocketing Saka like that, something else. But I think basically all United did was defend well for most of that game. Otherwise, Arsenal should have won that game with ease. Kai Havertz should have scored. Saka should have scored before the late drama.
Yeah, but also, I for some reason, United, they were not switched on. If you watch the last game where they conceded 4 minutes, hold on. The last game, they conceded 2 goals in 4 minutes. And right after kickoff, you lose the ball and you concede. After working so hard, because I think they came in at the Emirates hoping for a draw.
Yeah, man. The last time we won there was in 2016, dog. So I think, from it's I know it's pathetic. It's a pathetic excuse that I'm saying.
It's extremely pathetic.
But like Tina, we don't travel well at the Emirates. We struggle at that stadium. It's like Anfield, Anfield and Emirates.
Do you guys have a good? When was the last time you won at the Etihad? When was the last time you won at Anfield?
Oli.
Oli
has won.
McTominay. That McTominay goal.
That was 4 or 5 years ago now already.
No. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about
it. That's like 3 years ago.
That's like 3 years ago. Relax.
3 years ago. Okay.
Calm down.
But the point I'm trying to make is, you guys don't travel well.
We used to.
United.
Oli set that record. Remember? There was that record Oli set the season before he left. Yeah. And we can run away from home. You see, we inconsistent. At times we good. At times we great away, and then we shit at home. Or we great at home and then we shit away, So for us, there really isn't any consistency with my club, bro. And that's part of the reasons why we are in the shithole that we are, or mess that we are in right now. But
how bad are the injuries to your defenders?
Oh my days! Hey, sit there, dog. Hey, dude, it's crazy now because we're gonna be using the Leicester, the former Leicester centre back pairing of Maguire and Evans, who's 36 years old. And apparently Evans' wife works for Man United TV. So I think maybe that's the reason why he got his 1-year deal at the team.
Nah.
So you see what I mean?
Hold on, he got his 1-year deal.
Why?
He got his 1-year deal because there was no one else that you guys could go right ahead and get.
Besides that, dog.
And Sergio Ramos was free.
Thank you. I was about to say.
Salary was a bit too much.
Come on.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Can I ask a question? Anybody with the lawn? Did you guys see Dallo slide across it? At what point do you think he stopped sliding?
Because Jesus said, "Lie on the lawn, my son."
Was that Evans or Dallo?
It was
Dallo. It was Dallo. I also thought it was Evans at first. But on the replay,
I thought it was Evans.
No, it's Dallo, dog. It's Dallo.
Yeah, it's Dallo.
I mean, Evans.
Hey man, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. That was great recovery pace. He had to make a challenge because he faked a shot. You know, it's that Brazilian genetics there. Because that was great recovery. You know, I thought he was gonna shoot with his left, but when he took that touch, hey, my man, it was bad.
Composure.
He almost hit the advertising boards there.
But you don't go in sliding like that, my bro. You don't go in sliding like that.
No, you don't.
But look,
I don't think United played that badly, to be honest. I think they went in with a plan, and their plan was to hit Arsenal on the counter, and they did do that. But then after they hit them on the counter and they went 1-0 up, they then okay, now what? Then they conceded immediately, and then they just couldn't get themselves back up. I thought they did have a good 15-minute period after that.
In the first half.
In the first half. But in the end, that second goal was it was coming. You could feel it coming. Yeah. And then, look, the third goal, that happens, right? They're chasing the game. You get it on the break. It happens. You'd rather, in that situation, chase the game like that and lose 3-1 than sit back and lose 2-1. So I'm not going to overanalyze that third goal. They were going for game. I think United's problems are off the pitch, not on the pitch. What's happening with Sancho? What's happening with Anthony? And then we have to talk about the big guy.
Yeah, Ronaldo was the problem.
He's the biggest problem.
The problem is gone. But now they've got bigger problems.
Shiva was about to say something. Yeah. Eric Ten Hag.
The problem is not gone.
Eric Ten Hag thinks that he is on the level of Pep and Klopp, and he is not.
Yes.
Self-awareness. He lacks it. Yeah, he lacks self-awareness.
He is extremely arrogant. I find him I love it because he has to eat his words all the time, and he never does. And then the next week it happens again and again and again. So I love it as a Liverpool fan. For me, it's very entertaining.
No, but I think as a manager, you don't get to that level by being. I think Klopp is also arrogant.
But he backs it up.
Thank you.
Same thing with Pep. It's like, bro. You can.
Top managers are arrogant, guys.
You've got a very short memory. You've got a very short memory. With the squad that what's his name, that Ten Hag had last season, for him to finish where he finished, you have to respect him. That took some work.
No, I don't. I don't. Only finished second with words. Nah. We're talking about a season when Newcastle was in the top 4. What? We're talking about a season when Newcastle was in the top 4, where Chelsea was not in the top 6, where Tottenham was not in the top 6, where Liverpool was not in the top 4. Come on.
We almost finished fourth.
Season. That was a break season. That was Leicester winning the league season.
Who took them out of that name top 4 table? It was Man United.
It wasn't really Man United. They took themselves out of that top 4. They were not losing to Man United. They were not losing to Man United.
Huge boost. United gave us a huge boost to go back to the top.
Yes, they were not losing to Man United.
James,
Man United
right now because of his standing last season. So give the man let's respect him.
No, look, I think
his stock price is headed downhill right now. If we're being honest.
But I think it's his.
I don't think.
Tones down his ego.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. I think if he just tones down his ego and actually says, "Look, maybe I should not come in and say eras come to an end," and actually try to build up my club, I think then he can be a very good manager. for now, he's a good manager. He's not on that level. There's
level.
levels. There's levels to this. He's not one up. And I don't think he'll ever get there because I don't think he can admit his mistakes. But if he does admit his mistakes,
older than Pep.
Then I think you guys have got a good manager. Yeah, he's older than Pep, and he's not that much younger than Klopp either.
Yeah, he doesn't have he doesn't have a style of play that any big team would want. First of all, secondly, he hasn't proven himself tactically anywhere. He sucks when he plays against big teams. He plays a negative brand of football. He constantly butts heads with his players, especially the talented ones, the technical ones. He never likes to play them. He likes to keep them on the bench, and he victimizes them. Ronaldo said last season, "I've been training well. I have never been. No one has ever told me why I'm not playing. Even when the team is struggling, I am not playing, but I'm training well. I'm doing extras. I'm doing all of this, and no one can ever doubt Ronaldo's work ethic as far as training." But Ten Hag was like he's seeing things that he's not happy about, that he wants him to work on and things like that. There is a dishonesty about him that is drawn from his arrogance as well. It is the same arrogance that got him to say they must fire Rangnick after Rangnick was hired as a consultant to help them recruit to rebuild the team. He said let them fire him. He wants full control. He's been getting Dutch league players only in that team, expecting that players that are at the talent level of Ajax are going to take on the Premier League, which is stupid for any coach. But he decided that was going to be his approach, and he's continued this approach, unbothered, unhindered. Him winning the Carabao Cup, playing horrible matchups throughout the competition all the way to the final, was actually a saving grace for him, because he didn't have a great season in the Premier League. He didn't. It's just that teams that were supposed to be in the top four were not there. So it paints him as this person who he won a trophy for United after however many years, and then he finished third. We've seen players finish second with Jose. We've seen them finish second with Ole, who themselves were not playing great football. So if Ten Hag is supposed to be the second coming of Sir Alex Ferguson, there is no evidence of that. The only thing is the PR behind him, based off United fans wanting to believe that this guy has the same hairstyle as Pep Guardiola, therefore he must be the second coming of Pep Guardiola, is what has kept him in this job. There's nothing about him that's special. Nothing.
Technically, he has the same hairstyle as me, so hairstyles don't mean much.
For you, it looks like it's by choice.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when Harry Maguire came on, the Arsenal fans started cheering him on.
Yeah.
They knew they won. They knew. That was the game right there. I also think.
So now what happens with Sancho? Because I'm pretty sure they met today. Because
he's never gonna play.
You raised a point where you said he's dishonest. I'm starting to believe that he is very dishonest. Yesterday in the interview, I think there was a slip of the tongue. What's his name is not training well and sure, fine. There are other reasons they're not getting along very well. If that kind of information should have been kept inside Man United, it doesn't come out. It will only come out like months later when Sancho has left and.
Oh, but maybe when he's sacked.
Or when he's sacked, yeah. Because I can only imagine they come into office today in the morning, because it's been said. One wedding said, the other one doesn't say. Did he brief the boy with him? Listen, I don't think you're training hard enough, your intensity in the training field, or was it a surprise? That's why Sancho went and said, I train with the best of the best thing in Man United. Sure, fine, that was a lie. There was a bit of an overstretch. But now
you're coming at us. You were defending us all along. Now you're coming with us.
But like, how's the conversation today? Like when they come in the office, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? He has to either suspend him, Like something has to happen.
But you see, that's
just follow Piers Morgan, bro.
Actually, I listened. They were interviewing Piers on Talk Sport Radio this morning, and he said it straight. He said, "What's his name? Ten Hag has got a bloated ego. He thinks he's arrived, and he hasn't arrived. What's helping his cause right now is all the noise that's going on leadership-wise within Man United. So that masks everything that is terrible with his side."
That's why whenever they struggle on the pitch, the first thing the United legends do is they go at the Glazers. Yesterday they asked about the offside. The first thing Neville starts talking about is the owners, that people don't know if they're going to keep their jobs because the club is for sale. I'm like, this is such nonsense. You've been saying the club should go for sale for so long. And now that the club is for sale, it's now an excuse that they're trying to sell the club. How is that an excuse when you call for them to sell it?
Gary knows Guti during that period he was playing, the Glazers were paying the refs. Now that they've stopped, it's a big problem. Now the money's gone, they can't pay refs. That's why he's complaining about the penalties. Like, you can't be asked about a penalty and you tell me about guys who are not even on the pitch.
So I don't know if you guys...
Are you guys still for sale,
The deal that Man United, the Glazers bought Man United. The Glazers bought Man United for 750 million. Okay, 250 million was their money. The rest was was loans thingy, and they were using the club to go right ahead and pay off.
Get more loans.
So now they're valuing Man United at 10 billion, and they bought Man United in 2005, if I'm not mistaken. That is some good business. 750, 250 is your money, and then a couple of years, well, not a couple of years later, you put it on the market. 10 years later, you put it on 20 years later, you put it on the market, and you're saying it's 10 billion.
Hey man, Shabazz said something very key right now. He was about to say something.
Are you guys still for sale?
No,
because I thought I saw something that you're not for sale anymore.
No, they're not.
I saw that last week. I saw that last week.
They saw Chelsea went for 3 billion. They thought, okay, cool. Let's see how the market is going to react. The highest offer they got was a 5 billion offer. Now they're thinking, okay, cool. If we can get 5 billion, why not push it up to 6 billion? The other thing that they are betting on is that in 2 years' time, there's going to be a huge intake of football fans, because remember, the World Cup is in America. And you know what that means? The share price is going to do this, because now Americans are going to be pushing for soccer, football, whatever. Messi is doing them a great favor right now. So this is the worst time for the Glazers to sell the club. If they sell now, they're not going to achieve.
Yeah, because there's a projected spike in the value of clubs in the next 2 years because of the American market.
Yes.
But I mean, Saudi could come and fuck that right up.
Yeah, I hope they do. I hope they do that, like how they did with golf. How they did with golf, with LIV, with Live. I hope they do the same, bro. Nah, dog. Like, hey, for me, it's man, with my club, bro, we in disarray, and I keep repeating myself, and
that's why you don't even showing yourself today.
Nah, man, you know why I'm not. You guys know why I'm not showing myself. Come on.
You know nothing. You know nothing.
Okay.
The Glazers didn't pay the Wi-Fi.
The tears are rolling down.
No, not even. What?
All because of test kick.
It's all good, okay, bro. It's all good, bro.
I know, my dog. I know what's going on. It happens when you get beaten, man. Hey, it happens.
Yeah.
You guys heard what Peter Drury said about Onana?
Oh, no.
No, man, let me find it. He said something brilliant. Hold on. I'm going to find it now. He said, if Onana was a folder, he wouldn't be able to save a file.
No. If he was it?
If Onana was a folder, he wouldn't be able to save a file.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's not Peter Drury, bro? That can't be.
People underestimated Dave.
So you can make jokes about Ghanaians, but we can't.
That's good. Yeah, guys. I think
Ten Hag said Onana over David De Gea.
The disrespect.
Ten Hag. David De Gea is busy doing cool there, posting videos, training alone, diving for balls. No one is coming to him. It's so sad, and that's a club legend. That's a club legend.
X has said this time and time again. Ten Hag's talent ID leaves much to be desired.
A coach that wants that much control, that does zero scouting, is a red flag. You see, a coach that scouts is a coach that's going to find a gem out of nowhere. If a coach is sourcing players from one league, you have to be worried. You have to be worried.
Before we all go into darkness.
Yeah. Hello, darkness.
Yeah.
Any other pointers? Yeah. Spurs is on the up. They're saying they have their Spurs back.
I saw someone.
People forget how Spurs started last season. People forget that.
Yeah.
Spurs were second to Arsenal last season. People forget. Going into December. People forget, but it's fine. Let Spurs celebrate.
I saw this meme about Spurs. They said Spurs are ahead of United. This one-man team that's Tottenham Hotspur. They're ahead of United, and they're sold their one man.
Guys,
Son is stepping up. Son is stepping up.
But guys,
Madison was an amazing buy for them.
In closing, about my team, I'm just gonna say Darwin Núñez. That is all.
What did I say to you? Wait, Shiva, can I get my roses? Can I get my flowers? We had this conversation 3 weeks ago. I said to you, play your striker. This thing of wanting to play Gakpo or whatever. What did I say to you? Play your striker. You have a number 8. You have a number 8 now. Play your striker.
He's not Mike's side, so this is nothing.
No, he's not the type. He's not the type Mike likes. Mike wants to striker at the center line.
I think he is.
Everybody
is the type of striker because
be like Mike.
Mike. Guys, shit. I know, guys.
Gents, let's drop the mic. Call it a day. It was a good session. We cried.
Mike.
Good. We shall meet yet again. Now we've got that international break thing. So for 10 days.
Guys, we've got rugby, guys. We've got rugby.
Yeah, there's rugby starting.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that other sport.
Actually, no. It's starting when? On the 8th.
No, never. Never.
Not that one. You see, Maurice is even ghosting us, even in our group chat. He's stressed out. You know how he feels about. He's so passionate about our cricket.
No. X, I think we've said enough. We've said enough. We were talking about the rugby. Let's continue talking about the rugby.
Go Sia and the boys. Yeah.
Take it easy, gents.
Guys, cheers, guys.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. We're all good. Sure, gents.
Oh,
Cheers.
Voila.